Hey people, welcome to Birth of the Cool Volume 1, dedicated 110% to my legacy. And my major legacy is real talk and rethinking on UK jazz dance. There's been a silent gap for over 40 years. No one's spoken on UK jazz dance evolution in the Manchester, north of England, with the reality that it should have been done for a long time. No one spoke about the racism. They haven't talked about the killing of the dancers' lives, and they've not spoken about UK jazz dance being part of the soul, funk, disco scene, reggae, R&B, intergenerational scene within the black community. And my work is to find real talk. What happened? Anglo-Saxon DJs, proprietors and onlookers saw the dance from a cultural bias perspective, an implicit bias, and that's how they reported on it. And that still reporting is still going on from the time they saw it, 1975 or in the 80s, till now, 2015. And a definitive book that has been written reflects some of them opinions, what people thought about it. I'm going to identify to individuals straight away. Due to cultural bias, what that did, it led to Anglo-Saxons, who were the dominant speakers on the dance, to inform everybody that it's a fad and insignificant, and they did that locally, regionally, nationally and internationally, so we wouldn't be respected, or the dance culture respected at all. Because of cultural bias, they don't look at the UK jazz dance how I do. UK jazz dance basically is a life and style that evolved to be a culture, and it evolved to be a new culture that promoted positive values, attitude, traits and behaviour. And some of them traits were competition, collaboration, camaraderie, love, democratic working together, determination, devotion, desire, hard work, ethic. Pursuing dance as a career was one of the key things that came with UK jazz dance. Many people tried to pursue it as a career or pursue wider arts, and the few that did it, they had to forge opportunities. So one of my write-ups, you'll hear me speak about that, because that's important for you to understand the significance, you understand the context. What had happened was black youth development, particularly males or females, was not wanted in the UK, and it was seen as a trend. So basically you could go back and look at how many groups from the 50s are still around, black groups, 60s, 70s, still around today, 80s, still around sustainably, and then you can look up how many Anglo-Saxon groups are up from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, look up 90s, are they sustainable? Many of our artists had to leave from Manchester, had to go to London, and if they didn't get an opportunity in London, like a guy called Gerald, he went to Europe, where Europe gave them more opportunities, and that's historically how it's been. It's important for me to give you real talk. But identify, we brought a new culture, attitudes, we brought a new way to learn, think and develop oneself, socially, physically, intellectually, culturally, emotionally, politically, economically, technologically, environment, legally. It opened a new door for individuals to reconnect to their parents, reconnect to culture diversity, because what was happening, we were living in a society that didn't want culture diversity and had educated Anglo-Saxons to believe that we were inferior. That is no way, that's not a healthy society. To see our African diaspora women as nothing, see the black males as macho, which is not the truth. This dance brought about social cultural cohesion, and it brought about social cultural cohesion for African Caribbeans themselves, because they were new, they didn't know about each other's culture and wider cultures, and it brought about culture diversity, because what happened was many whites weren't coming into our community to learn about our dance. We were going into their communities, teaching them our dance and sharing our dance, like what happened in America with the black bottom and the various other dances that African Americans taught Anglo-Saxons. When they did that, they were doing something political. They were sharing cultural diversity. They were increasing it. And it's through our dance, this is what I want to claim, through our dance, we created wider opportunities for cultural diversity to come into Britain. Have you got that? And what's happened is very disheartening. Anglo-Saxon DJs are getting accolades for the evolution of cultural diversity within the music scene, but the dance scene, when they're the ones who try to kill the dance, they try to suppress us doing the dance, and most importantly, they didn't want us in the club in the first place. That's why there was black door policies. Basically, we brought into the club a natural health and happiness culture. We didn't really drink. Few people, 99% of the people, youth I know who went to the clubs in the 70s and 80s, didn't drink. That's not good for a DJ, is it? Right? So you need to understand some of the reasons why, besides cultural bias and implicit bias, why some people hated us. We were encouraging people to keep themselves healthy, and people didn't want that. People wanted people to drink, they wanted them to be smoking, and wanted them to be decadent. Blue UK Jazz Dance out.